AI tools for teachers. I mean, imagine spending hours creating lesson plans, preparing quizzes, checking assignments, designing presentations, and creating study materials.
Just endless paperwork.
Right. And then discovering AI tools that can help you do all of this in like minutes. Sounds like every teacher's dream, doesn't it? Today, we're exploring the best AI tools that were totally transforming the way teachers teach and students learn. Welcome to the Deep Dive, everyone. I'm your host, and today we are tackling a massive shift in education, taking a look at how you can navigate this whole tidal wave of artificial intelligence, not as a threat, but as an indispensable part of your teaching workflow.
Yeah, it really is a critical conversation to have right now. The modern educator is dealing with an unprecedented level of, cognitive overload between the curriculum design, the differentiation for diverse learning needs, parent communication.
The email?
Right, the endless emails and administrative reporting. The sheer volume of daily decisions is just staggering. So we are here to map out how you can actually reclaim your time and energy.
Let's be real. If you're listening to this, you intimately know the feeling of the Sunday scaries. You know, it's 3 p.m. on a Sunday, you're staring at a completely blank screen, trying to figure out how to explain the water cycle for the 5th year in a row.
The absolute worst feeling.
And this time it's to a cohort that includes varying IEPs, completely different reading levels, and highly distracted kids. You're spending hours just laying the groundwork before you even get to the art of teaching.
Which is exactly why we need to rethink the workflow. Our goal today is to walk through a completely reimagined AI-assisted teaching process, from the moment you conceptualize a unit to the minute you deliver it in the classroom.
So we're looking at how these tools handle the heavy lifting, basically.
Exactly. The formatting, the summarizing, the initial drafting, all of that, so that you can focus entirely on pedagogy and, human connection.
Let's follow a specific scenario here. Say we're tackling that middle school science unit on climate change and the water cycle. Every great class starts with a plan. We need the learning objectives, the activities, all of that. Now, for a long time, ChatGPT has been the go-to teaching assistant for this.
It has, yeah.
But we need to look at how educators are actually using it beyond just typing, write a lesson plan. Like, generating a full 45-minute lesson plan in seconds is cool, but there's more to it.
Oh, absolutely. The real power of a tool like ChatGPT in an educational context lies in scaffolding and differentiation. I mean, standardizing a lesson plan is easy, but you can prompt the AI with something much more complex.
Give me an example of what you mean by complex.
So you could say, take this 9th grade reading passage about greenhouse gases and adapt the Lexile reading level for a 6th grader who struggles with reading comprehension while maintaining the core scientific vocabulary.
Oh, wow. And it just does it.
The AI recalculates the entire sentence structure and vocabulary complexity in about 3 seconds.
That is wild. You can even ask it to, explain photosynthesis to a 10-year-old or create a group activity to teach teamwork skills.
Exactly. Or build a 5E lesson plan. You just feed it your core topic and it builds out the stations.
But let's layer in the research phase, because sometimes standard ChatGPT's training data isn't, current enough, or you need hyper-specific cited sources for a higher-level class.
Right, and this is where tools like Google Gemini and Perplexity AI come into the picture. Perplexity is incredibly useful because it operates as an answer engine rather than just a text generator.
So it's actually looking things up.
Yeah, it scours the live internet and actually cites its sources with footnotes. So if you are building a unit on a rapidly evolving topic, like recent climate legislation, Perplexity will find the actual research papers and news articles.
And it summarizes them while giving you the direct link so you can verify the information.
Exactly. And Gemini functions similarly within the Google ecosystem, which makes it a fantastic brainstorming buddy if you are trying to pull current events into your classroom discussions.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second, because the efficiency is undeniable. But I have to push back here. If Perplexity finds the research and ChatGPT writes the lesson plan and differentiates the reading levels, doesn't the curriculum start to feel a bit sterile?
Generic.
Yeah. Like, where is the teacher's voice? If a machine writes my curriculum, how do I keep it feeling like my classroom?
That is the most common and honestly the most valid hesitation educators have. But the paradigm shift is realizing that the AI is generating your baseline, not your final product.
So it's just getting you past the blank page.
Exactly. It cures blank page syndrome. By instantly providing the skeletal structure like the timeline, the vocabulary list, the basic activities, it absorbs the administrative friction.
Right.
You then take that saved cognitive energy and inject your unique knowledge of your students' quirks. You add the local community examples. The AI provides the raw clay, but you are still the sculptor.
The raw clay, I like that. Okay, so we have the framework of our climate change unit mapped out. But preparing to teach often means digesting a giant mountain of new information yourself.
Oh, yes, the reading pile.
Right. Maybe the district just handed you a 100-page PDF of new state standards, or a massive new textbook chapter, or a stack of research papers. How are we tackling that without giving up our entire weekend?
This is where we see one of the most fascinating leaps in AI technology. We're talking about Google's Notebook LM.
Notebook LM, right?
Unlike ChatGPT or Perplexity, which draw from the entire internet, Notebook LM is entirely restricted to the documents that you upload. It utilizes a process called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG.
Let me make sure I have this clear, because this distinction feels really important. Using standard AI is kind of like searching a massive public library, where the librarian might occasionally just, guess an answer if they can't find the book.
Right, the AI hallucinations.
Exactly. But Notebook LM is like locking that librarian in a room with only your specific textbook and refusing to let them look at anything else.
That is a perfect analogy. You upload your specific textbook chapter or that 100-page state standard PDF. The AI becomes a hyper-focused expert on only those documents.
So it won't just make things up.
No. If you ask it a question and the answer isn't in your document, it will explicitly tell you it doesn't know.
Which is massive for accuracy. You could literally upload a textbook and ask, give me a summary of the core arguments in Chapter 3, or generate 10 quiz questions based exclusively on page 45.
Exactly. It's an instant document expert.
But there is a specific feature in Notebook LM that totally blew my mind when looking through the research. It can actually turn your uploaded documents into an audio podcast.
The audio overview feature, yes. It synthesizes two AI voices that banter back and forth, summarizing the core concepts and the nuances of whatever document you uploaded.
Imagine the practical application of that. You upload the required reading for your upcoming week, hit a button, and you can listen to a highly engaging summary of your textbook while you're commuting to school. You walk into the building already primed on the material.
It transforms passive commute time into active prep time, which is exactly how we start chipping away at that massive workload.
Okay, I want to pause and challenge you, the listener, for a second. Visualize your desk right now. Think about the thickest, most intimidating stack of papers, or that unread PDF sitting on your desktop that you have been dreading. That is the exact document you should feed into Notebook LM today, just to see how quickly it can break your paralysis.
Absolutely do that. And once you break that paralysis and understand the material, the next natural step in a teacher's workflow is figuring out how to present it.
Right, because visuals are vital for student comprehension, especially for complex systems like the water cycle. But designing them is a notorious time sink.
We've all fallen down the rabbit hole of tweaking fonts, adjusting margins, and searching for the perfect image until 2 a.m.
Totally. To solve this, we are looking at Canva AI and Gamma AI. Now, Canva is already a staple in so many classrooms, but their magic design feature fundamentally changes how you build slides. You just type a prompt, like create a presentation on climate change, and it instantly generates the layouts, color schemes, and imports relevant imagery.
And Gamma takes that generative process a step further, specifically for presentation architecture.
How so?
Well, Gamma uses natural language processing to identify the key themes in your prompt, maps those to a visual hierarchy, and actually builds interactive elements. It doesn't just give you a static template.
Wow.
And crucially for educators, it actually drafts the speaker notes for each slide.
Wait, hold on. I have to push back again here. Here's where it gets really interesting. If Gamma is picking the layout, sourcing the images, formatting the text, and writing the speaker notes, where am I in that equation? Aren't I just acting as a human teleprompter for a robot's lesson at that point?
It's a very real fear, but look at it from a cognitive load perspective. Think about how much mental energy you spend deciding if a title should be 36-point font or 42-point font.
Way too much time, if I'm honest.
Gamma takes away the tedious design mechanic so you can focus entirely on the delivery and the facilitation. You review those speaker notes, adjust them to your natural voice, and use the save time to plan how you'll move around the room, what questions you'll ask, and how you'll read the student's body language. The slides are the backdrop. You are still the main event.
Okay, you're shifting the friction from creation to curation. You curate what the AI builds. And speaking of high-level engagement, sometimes static slides just aren't enough for today's students. They are constantly consuming highly produced, fast-paced media. So how do we bridge the gap between text and video?
That is where we turn to generative video tools like in-video AI, which is often paired with voiceover engines like 11 Labs. You literally just type a prompt into InVideo like, create a 5-minute educational video explaining the water cycle for middle schoolers.
And from that single sentence, it generates a script, pieces together relevant visuals or stock footage, and layers on a voiceover. And 11 Labs in particular has gotten so advanced, the AI voices have natural pacing, breath sounds, dynamic inflection. You can create an entire micro-documentary for your class from scratch.
In the time it takes to brew a cup of coffee. But we have to anchor this in pedagogy. Video is highly effective, but only when carefully integrated.
Right, because if I can generate a full video with a voiceover, are the students just going to be watching AI screens all day?
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, these visual tools are for engagement, not babysitting. You don't just hit play and walk away. You use the video as the hook. You play 1 minute, pause it, ask a probing question, facilitate a quick pair-share activity, and then resume. The visual is the catalyst for active learning, managed by the teacher.
I love that distinction. These are engagement tools, not replacement tools. Now let's pivot, because generic AI is fantastic, but teaching is a highly specialized profession. We need tools built strictly with the classroom in mind, tools that understand nuanced tasks like specialized assessment and delicate parent communication.
This brings us to the specialized educator toolkits. So if you want to check for understanding after that video you just showed, you don't need to write a quiz from scratch.
Right.
Tools like Quizzes AI or Kahoot's AI features allow you to instantly generate formative assessments. You upload your notes or your PowerPoints, and the AI automatically generates multiple choice, true, false, and fill-in-the-blank questions.
It basically turns instant assessment into a game for the students, while the teacher gets immediate data on who grasped the concept.
Exactly. And for the heavy administrative interventions, we have to talk about Magic School AI. Looking at the landscape of tools, Magic School stands out because it wasn't built for corporate marketers. It was built exclusively by and for educators.
Yes, Magic School is amazing. It's pre-prompted with educational frameworks. Standard AI might not know what a specialized grading rubric should look like, but Magic School does.
It absolutely does. You can ask it to generate a perfectly toned, constructive email to a frustrated parent. You can ask it to write actionable feedback for a student who is continually struggling with mathematics, ensuring the tone is encouraging rather than punitive.
The emotional labor saved there is just immense. Trying to figure out how to word feedback so it corrects a mistake without crushing a student's spirit takes so much mental energy. Magic School handles that emotional drafting process for you. But let's look at the student side of the specialized toolkit. We have to talk about Conmigo.
Oh, developed by Khan Academy. Yes, Conmigo is arguably the gold standard right now for student-centered AI.
How is it different from just using ChatGPT?
Well, if you give a standard language model a math problem, its fundamental programming is to please the user by providing the answer as quickly as possible. That is terrible for learning.
Right, it bypasses the productive struggle completely.
Yeah.
It just does the work for them.
Precisely. So Khan Academy built complex guardrails into Conmigo that strictly forbid it from just giving the answer. Instead, it acts as a personalized Socratic tutor.
So it asks questions back.
Yes. It asks guiding questions like, what step do you think comes next? Or where did you get stuck in this equation? It forces the student to do the heavy cognitive lifting, which builds agency and critical thinking skills.
So what does this all mean? If we organize this whole toolkit we've discussed, ChatGPT is your general assistant, Magic School is your veteran mentor helping you write rubrics, and Conmigo is your endlessly patient co-teacher sitting right next to the student.
Categorizing them functionally like that is really the best way for educators to approach this technology without getting totally overwhelmed. Each tool serves a distinct, necessary function.
All right, so our hypothetical unit is built, the lesson plan is differentiated, the textbook is summarized, the visual slides are beautiful, the formative quizzes are generated. Before we step into the classroom or hit send on anything, we need to make sure everything is flawless. The final polish.
This is a crucial, often overlooked step. Tools like Grammarly act as your final safety net.
Beyond just simple spell check, right?
Yeah, Grammarly analyzes tone and clarity. When you are sending materials home to parents or publishing assignments, ensuring your communication is professional, clear, and error-free is vital. It's also an excellent reviewer for student writing drafts before they ever reach your desk.
Okay, we have our entire teaching workflow mapped out. Let's look at the actual time we just saved. Let's break down the real-life example from the research, comparing the traditional method versus the AI method.
Let's run the numbers. Traditionally, you might spend 1 hour researching and drafting the lesson plan. Then, 45 minutes finding images and creating the presentation slides. Another 30 minutes crafting a solid quiz from scratch. And let's say 30 minutes designing a supplemental worksheet.
That is 3 hours of grinding, 3 hours of prep for a single lesson block.
Now, apply the AI workflow. You use ChatGPT to build and differentiate that lesson plan that takes about 5 minutes. You drop the topic into Gamma to generate your slides and speaker notes another 5 minutes. You feed your materials into quizzes to instantly generate the assessment 3 minutes. And you use Canva AI to format a beautiful worksheet 5 minutes.
That total time
Yeah.
is 20 minutes.
Okay.
From 3 hours down to 20 minutes. I mean, just stop and think about the emotional and physical impact of that. You could actually eat lunch sitting down. You get your Sundays back.
But this dramatic efficiency inevitably raises the most important question of all. When people see a workflow shrink from 3 hours to 20 minutes, the immediate fear is, will artificial intelligence replace the teacher?
Right. That's what everyone is thinking.
And if you look at how these tools actually function, the answer is a resounding no. AI can generate all the content in the world, but it possesses absolutely zero empathy.
That is the dividing line.
An AI cannot look a student in the eye and instantly recognize that they're having a terrible day and need grace instead of a quiz. It cannot provide the spontaneous motivation required to push a kid through a tough subject. It cannot manage the complex social dynamics of a classroom. Artificial intelligence generates the materials. The human teacher inspires the student. We use the AI to save time so we can be more human in the classroom.
You bring the magic, the AI brings the materials. We have covered incredible ground today. Let's do a rapid recap of the top 5 AI tools every educator should try. We've got ChatGPT for instant differentiated lesson plans, Notebook LM for summarizing your heaviest textbooks, Canva AI and Gamma for stunning visual presentations, Magic School AI for your specialized teacher tasks, and Conmigo for brilliant Socratic student tutoring.
It is an incredibly powerful lineup if you take the time to learn the mechanics.
So here's our challenge to you. Which AI tool would you try first? We challenge you to pick just one tool from today's deep dive and test it in your workflow this week. Just one. Pick one friction point in your day, apply one tool, and see how much time it gives you back.
And as you take on that challenge, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. If AI can consistently give educators back nearly 3 hours of their day, what will the classroom of the future look like when teachers finally have the time and the energy to focus purely on mentoring and deeply connecting with every single student?
What a thought. That is the future we should all be building toward. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the evolving landscape of education. Embrace the technology, keep fighting for that human connection, and we will see you on the next one.
Stay curious and take care of yourselves.